lucky enough to have a loan of this aero bike from Bike Barn in Straven for the last week. This is their new brand, SIX22, that they are starting, and they very kindly gave me a loan of one for a week to see what I thought. So here is a wee review of my time with the SIX22. So here I am, I'm out in the Ayrshire countryside on the SIX22, which is as good a place as any to review a bike, because Ayrshire's countryside has everything. You've got mostly lumpy up and down roads. You've never get anything that's flat for a long period of time, although you do have the Ayrshire coastal paths, which are nice and flat, and if you want a longer climb you've got down to the Ayrshire Alps. But I spent most of the week, the 5 or 6 rides, I've been out in the SIX22 on Ayrshire's roads, which are a good test for any bike with varied terrain and varied quality of road surfaces. So I'll start with just giving you a rundown of the bike. It is an aero bike, as you can see, CL Aero from the name, and it definitely looks like an aero bike. I think it's quite reminiscent of some of Canyon's aero bike frames, for a bit of a reference. This is a size 54 frame. I'm generally a medium in my giant bikes. I'm generally a 54 in other bikes. I've had Kinesis and Planet X, etc. So I was lucky they had a 54. It does mean with this style of bike there isn't a lot of seat post. For me, I do have short legs, so you might find you've got more seat post if you're a slightly longer legged rider, but I'm in the short legged variety. So finishing kit, saddle, bar tape, handlebars, etc. are all from Pro, which is Shimano's finishing kit. Own brand, all good stuff. There's no point in getting into saddles really. If you get your own bike, most people will change it to their own saddle. The wheels are carbon, deep rimmed, not too deep, and tubeless. The tyres that are on it are the Vittoria Corsa. It's the first time I've ridden them, and I quite like them. I felt pretty secure going round corners, etc., and I do like tubeless. The group set is Ultegra. This is the cabled Ultegra. That's what I have on a couple of other bikes. It is a fantastic group set. The only way you're going to better Shimano Ultegra is if you go to Dura Ace, and really the difference is just a couple of grams of weight. I know the Campagnolo fans are going to go mental just now, but you won't go wrong with this group set at all. It's also hydraulic disc brake version as well, which is pretty much standard these days, and of course you've got the Ice Tech rotors, which keeps your brakes nice and cool. A lot of the finishing kit, ignore the pedals by the way. I wouldn't normally have SPDs on a bike like this. I would have my SLs, but that's what I had lying about, so I just stuck them on. So there you go, that's the kit. I like the handlebars. All the cabling's internal, so it's routed through the handlebars, and although I'm normally a Wahoo person, I stuck my wee old Garmin on there just because it was a Garmin mount that came. But if you look underneath, you'll see there is the attachments for an out front mount. Whether you're a Garmin or a Wahoo person, you can choose. This was my bike, I would go for some nice lovely red bar tape to go with the colour. This retails just a smidge over 3,000, which actually for a lightweight aero bike with Ultegra and carbon rim tubeless wheels is pretty competitive. Most bikes with that kind of spec you're looking at 5-6 grand now, so that is pretty decent. Just show you it from this angle as well. I found the handlebars pretty comfortable actually, and one thing I would say, I was really comfortable on the drops on this bike, which I'm not normally as comfortable on. So I'm actually looking for some integrated handlebars to tidy up the cabling in my TCR, so this is something I might consider in the future. So there's a kind of rundown of the kit on the bike. Again, Bike Barn can build this to your spec, so I suppose you could get it a bit cheaper depending on what group set or wheels and saddle etc you choose, or whether you have your own bike and you want to take everything off the frame and put it onto a new frame. That can reduce the cost as well, but they are great if you want to go in and discuss with them. They will, you know, price something up for you depending on what spec you're going to pick. And obviously if you wanted to, they do have the Di2 version of Ultegra. I think it's about 3.8, 3.9, but of course all negotiable with them. So there's a wee rundown of the spec. So here I am, another wee viewpoint I like to stop at in Ayrshire. As you can hear, just did a bit of a wee climb to get there, but I've told you about the specs and stuff, so let's just have a wee review of how it felt to ride. I found the cockpit of this bike very comfortable. I'm somebody who spends a lot of time riding with my hands here, and that was comfortable even in the aero bar, but often when I'm just like cycling along, I tend to sit a bit here instead, but I found myself comfortably here, and as I said, on the drops I was very comfortable. It being an aero bike, that's probably a good thing, but yeah, definitely a comfortable cockpit. I expected it to be a harsher ride because it was an aero bike in the carbon, but actually a lot of the rough stuff, and there is in Ayrshire because the roads are crap, a lot of the rough stuff was actually smoother than I expected, so there's a smooth ride. I rode it for 110 kilometres one day and was very comfortable the whole day, so quite pleased with that. As I just mentioned, I just come up a climb on it, and actually for an aero bike, which you would think would be for the flat fast roads, it actually climbs really well and very comfortable out the saddle for a climb. Obviously nice compact gearing on it, but yeah, it's a very good climber for a fast aero bike. And talking about speed, I know the speed of a bike is largely down to the rider, but I did find this bike to go fast very easily. In fact, when I was out in the big ride, there was one point I had a good tailwind behind me and I was sitting very comfortably at 50 kilometres an hour. Not out of breath or anything, which I normally would be at that speed, so it is a very fast bike, and obviously it's very good at slowing down with the hydraulic discs. I know it's a funny one to gauge, but I found the bike very responsive. You know, it does exactly what you want it to. I was very confident cornering in this bike, even at a wee bit more speed than normal. So yeah, it is very responsive as well, and with the hydraulic brakes and its ability to get up to speed quick, you can change speeds going round corners, up down hills, whatever, very easily. It does exactly what you want it to do. If I had one issue, and again this is personal preference, I like riding with a saddlebag and I like a wee light in the back. The shape of the seat post and the amount of seat post for me made it difficult to attach anything, and just from a looks perspective it's not my cup of tea. Excuse the car going past. The bolt for the seat post is in here, and being a carbon seat post you will need a torque wrench, but make sure your torque wrench is long. It needs to be quite long to get in there. My torque wrench didn't quite make it all the way, but luckily it was set up in the shop for me. And this rubber cover just covers the seat post. I did find I do have chunky thighs, so the thinner sprinter or proper cyclist might not get annoyed, but that caught my leg a few times. But again, as far as the gripes go, it's very small. So I've done 200 miles over the week, a mixture. Sat at the club run, where most of the club actually commented on how beautiful a bike it is, and it is. It's a gorgeous looking thing, nice red, and I don't think it comes in our colours. I've seen a customer taking out a purple version, which was very nice. Took it in a solo 110km ride where it was very comfortable. Did actually ride it to work a couple of times this week. Now if this is going to be your only bike, commuting on it'll be fine. I wouldn't buy it for a commuting bike, obviously, because you'd want things like mudguard mounts or pannier mounts or things like that, so it's not built for that, but it did that job if this is going to be your only bike. All in all, the 622 CL Aero is a very impressive bike, and at the price point it's got amazing kit. So if you like this and you want to find out more, give Bike Barn a wee shout. I'll put their website address in the description below, and you can follow them on Instagram and Facebook. They also have a 622 gravel bike, and maybe they'll give me a loan of one of them and I can do a wee review as well. But if you're looking for a new road bike and this looks like it's one that you would like, give Bike Barn a shout, because I don't think you would be disappointed. And remember, you can customise it and build it up yourself, so there we go.